a review for the Penguin, continuing episodes 3 and 4, which again I thought were pretty good. Um, Continues with the Penguin playing both sides of the Falcons and the Maronis and trying to basically it seems like take both of them out and take control of the mafia gangs in the city. Episode 3 is kind of focusing on Victor. I thought his story was very powerful and interesting because it actually puts a face to what happened in the movie, which I thought was smart. You have the movie, and there's some of the citizens, you see what happened with the flood. It destroyed their lives, but in this you get a real example of how the flood destroyed Vic's life. It killed his parents, it killed his sister, destroyed their apartment. He was on top of a building hanging out with some of his friends and his girlfriend, who's later on in the episode. And they're I think it's like election night, I think, for the mayor, and they're gonna have fireworks. They go up there, they're hanging out with some unsavory characters that his dad doesn't like, which was interesting later because he doesn't think his dad would be proud of him because of what he's doing. He's working for a mobster. He doesn't, his dad obviously wouldn't have liked that, which he mentions that one of his friends is was arrested for drugs or something, and he doesn't want to hang out with them. So they're up on the building, seawall blows up, destroys, like I said, a lot of his life. And then you kind of jump to the future with the Penguin. He's going out with Sophia. She kind of somewhat trusts him but doesn't. She still suspects that he's a snake in the grass, and possibly had something to do with her brother's death. But she's gonna work with him because her and Sophia are gonna take out the rest of the Falcone family. That's at least their plan, and they're gonna get the triads to help them with it. And then he goes out with her and Vic's in the Penguin's apartment, and his girlfriend comes by, and she's basically like, "I'm gonna leave the city and go to California," I think she said. And he doesn't like that, but she's like, "I have nothing here." I think her parents were killed too, and her family was killed and destroyed, so she has nothing either. He gives her some money, and she's like, "Meet me at this bus stop if you want to go." And he says he's gonna go, but he's kind of afraid of the Penguin. But I think he also is loyal to him too. And I thought that struggle was really good. And later on in the episode, they're selling this stuff called Bliss, which is this new drug that Sophia and the Penguin are creating. Sophia mentions that they gave it to the inmates of Arkham, and the next episode you see what happened to her in Arkham, which is crazy. That was a crazy episode too. I probably thought that one was a little better maybe, but it's much darker. It's it's Arkham Asylum. It's very Batman. But I did enjoy this episode, and Vic, learning more about him. I like the scene in the restaurant where the Penguin basically explains, you in this life you have to take what you want, and he's like, "I respect what your father did. I think he said he's a mechanic, but he's like, you could make so much money working for me, and me and you could do some really powerful things. We could change this city." They're in this fancy restaurant. But Colin Farrell again, he's amazing as this character. And I like how you can tell he has respect for like the working class man, but in some ways he doesn't, though, because he thinks, why not be a mobster? Why not just take what you want? Like, why follow the law? And that's like the struggle. And then, Vic mentions his dad wouldn't have been proud of him. And he's thinking about leaving. And he says, to his girlfriend that he's kind of afraid of the Penguin. I mean, he has threatened his life, basically, and if he leaves, he'll think maybe he'll rat me out. So he's afraid of that. And then, later on in the episode, he's gonna leave. I like the scene in the bathroom when he's gonna leave, and he kind of tells Penguin what's going on. Penguin's like, "Look, leave." He's like, "If you don't want this, then you don't deserve it." He's like, "Me and you, like, we could, change this city, and I could rule it, and you could be like my right hand man." Basically, is kind of what he's saying to him. I thought it was really good. And is it at the end of this one or the next one? Where Sophia finds out that Penguin is a snake in the grass. And the next episode is really brutal because it shows Carmine Falcone. I mean, he puts his daughter in Arkham Asylum, basically because he's, and this is all spoilers, obviously. I can't really talk about this without that, but that he's the hangman, and he's, I guess, like a serial killer going around killing women. And John Turturro said, like, "Oh, I didn't come back for this show because of all the violence against women." And honestly, there hasn't been much violence against women. I mean, if you count the stuff in Arkham Asylum, then yeah, but I mean, it's a really good story, and the actress who plays Sophia is, I think, like, amazing in it, because she's really intense, but behind the eyes you can kind of see, like the craziness, which is, it's really messed up because, like, she wasn't crazy. She suspected that her dad was the hangman because this journalist goes to her and has these pictures of all these women who were strangled, but they said they were hanged or strangled, but I think she thinks they were strangled. But her mother was hanged, and she's like, "Oh, these pictures look similar to your mother, and your mother had fingernails that were broken." And Sophia's remembering back when she was a kid, and she remembers that her dad had scratches on his hands because Sophia found the body of her mother hanging. So then she starts to think, maybe he's been lying to me for this whole time. And Mark Strong does a really good job as Carmine. I mean, just to continue the movie, I think Turturro would have been better. But Mark Strong's a really good actor too. I mean, so is John Turturro, but I don't know. He said he didn't come back because of violence against women. I mean, maybe in the next couple episodes you see more of that. I've watched part of episode 5 too. If some of the stuff in episode 5 seeps into this, I'm trying to remember exactly when the cutoff was for 4, but I'll review 5 and 6 later. But yeah, Mark Strong's really good, and I like the scene with him and Sophia when they're eating dinner, and Alberto's there, and his father's like, "I wanted you to check out the finances of this one guy," and he's like, "Oh, I haven't done it yet," and he just is disappointed, and he's like, "I swear I'll get it done, by the end of the week or something." And then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." He's like, gonna go party, and drink and everything, and Sophia's, there, and she's like the responsible one. She runs this group that is helping battered women. And so yeah, I was like, I don't know what Turturro's talking about. I mean, and then later I mean, you could call it, yeah, violence against Sophia. But other than that, there hasn't been that much. And in the Batman movie there was violence against women. I mean, doesn't Carmine kill Catwoman's best friend and beats up Catwoman, and she's his half daughter, right? So, I don't know. I gotta rewatch the Batman. It's been a while, but I was kind of like, I don't really know what he's talking about. Maybe an episode, later on, they'll show him being the Hangman and being basically a serial killer and going out and killing these women, which I would think they get into because, and then, but I don't know. It's just his statement that, that's not my thing. It's just like, it's kind of just odd. It's like you were just in that movie where there's violence against women in the Batman, and you're playing Carmine Falcone. He's not a good guy, But anyways, and this is a good story for Sophia. I mean, I think, and yeah, and then he puts her. She questions him. She talks to the journalist again. She calls the number. The journalist gives her a card. The Penguin is her driver, and the Penguin even says to her, you shouldn't be talking to journalists. Your father wouldn't like that. She's pretty mean to the Penguin. She's like, look, I don't care what you have to say. No one cares what you have to say. You're just my driver. Shut up and drive. Even though earlier she was kind of nice to him because someone called him the Penguin, and she's like, you shouldn't call him that because it's a derogatory slur against him because of how he walks and everything. But I was also thinking during the show, is it just me or is his like waddle like more pronounced in the show? But yeah, he's amazing though. Hopefully he gets some award recognition for this because I think he's really good. But yeah, it kind of shows his kind of lowly beginnings, and I really enjoyed that. And then with Vic earlier, he said that he was the driver to this other guy who then, I think he said he was killed or arrested by the feds. So he kind of lied about that to Vic. Because I don't think he wants to admit that he was the driver of Sophia. Then Sophia tells Vic that. So, but yeah, and then the Penguin goes behind Sophia's back and tells Carmine that she met with the journalist, which I thought was pretty dumb of her. Like, you're gonna meet with this journalist, but literally the Penguin it like drops you off, and he's like 100 feet away, 200 feet away, waiting in the car. I mean, I get it, he drove you there, but I don't know, maybe like take the subway and meet with her. But then he goes behind her back and tells him, because I mean, he does work for Carmine. He's the one who pays him, and he says that to her. He's like, "Look, I work for him. He would be pissed if I didn't tell him. He pays me." And then she's all angry at him. But I mean, it's true. Like, he's an employee of him, and if he found out another way and he didn't say anything, I mean, he would maybe have him killed. Who knows? So. But then they show her in Arkham Asylum, and it's really brutal. She's only going to be there for 6 months, they say, and then her trial will start because her dad frames her for the death of the journalist woman. So maybe he killed her. Who knows? I didn't show it, but and also the death of other women that the Hangman killed, that he killed. So pretty messed up. He frames his own daughter for a bunch of murders, calls her crazy, throws her in Arkham, and yeah, I mean, just watch the episode. It's really brutal, and the doctor there is not a good guy, and then his assistant kind of likes Sophia. You could tell, like, romantically, but he's not a good guy either. And she even says later, you're manipulating me because, later, this is all like a flashback basically, but yeah, and she's like, you're manipulating me. Like, I've been manipulated my whole life by these men. And, Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good, I guess I'd call like a feminist kind of tale, but it's not like preachy, and I didn't find it like preachy or hateful or anything. It was just a good story, and I could totally see that from like a mob boss, you know, like treating his son and daughter totally differently. Because I don't think he would ever do that to Alberto, even though he's the he's the messed up one. But yeah, but and it's even kind of surprising because Carmine even says to Sophia after Alberto leaves, he's like Alberto isn't like us. We're he's soft. We're strong. And then he says to her, you know, when I'm no longer the head of the family, I want you to be. And then she's like, oh well, they're not gonna like that because I'm a woman. And then he's like, they'll like what I tell them to like. So he was even setting her up to be the head of the family, but I guess that's the thing. Don't ever question him or betray him, because man, he instantly betrays her. So, which yeah, pretty powerful and messed up, and he's not a good guy, you know. And then later on, when she's told by Alberto that her case that the Arkham psychiatrist convinced the judge that she's crazy, she can't stand trial, and the judge believed him, and she's not going to have a trial, and she's just stuck there forever, basically. It was a really good scene, and very sad. But yeah, both good episodes. I'm interested to see where it goes. And then this is like a flashback, and this happens at the end of episode 3, I think, is when she finds out that Penguin is a traitor. The Maroni's wife, I think, ambushes them both outside of the club and says, you've been going behind her back, or you're selling this new drug. And she has, her and her goons have guns on them, and he basically admits that he is was just working with her to get the drug and then give it to Maroni. And then I think he admits that he killed Alberto too, I think. Yeah. And so she knows, so now she hates him, and she's angry that she trusted him. And then Vic finally chooses that he's going to stay, even though the Penguin said, look, you can go, I'm not going to kill you, I'm not going to hurt you or your girlfriend. And rams his Maserati into the goons, or maybe into Maroni's wife. Yeah. And by the end of the 2 episodes, or maybe that's episode 5. So whatever. I mean, I've now spoiled it all, but if you've seen the show, comment below, let me know if you like it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying the show. Like, just the look, the music, I think, is very good. Like I said, the tone, it's just very, mobster, old school mobster, gangster stuff, which is definitely, for movies, I'm really into. I love The Godfather 1 and 2. I'm a fan of Scarface. I know that the showrunner says Scarface is the main influence. I mean, I see that, but definitely The Godfather. Maybe some Goodfellas in there, but I think The Godfather, Scarface, definitely big influences. But yeah, check it out though, Penguin. And if you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. Really helps the channel. And that's about it.